Today we're going to be talking about whether or not your wife will support you in carrying a firearm. How's it going, guys? And welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk. My name is Chad and this is the Hopeful Homestead. You're out here right now in my tiny cabin on wheels that I've parked out on my family's campsite out on our 21-acre homestead here that we're going to be building our forever home on in the next 12 months. And in this series of videos, I like to sit out here in my tiny cabin, drinking some coffee, talking to you guys. I like to think I'm talking to all the husbands and dads out there about all the hard things we have to deal with in life. And protecting your family is obviously one of them. And unfortunately for some of us, your wife might not be in total support of you carrying or even owning a firearm. And today I'm going to be breaking down a few ways that you can try to be able to convince her why it's important that you have a gun. That's good coffee. You know you need to be able to have a gun. You know you need to be able to have a firearm to protect your family. As your family's protector, your wife's husband, your kid's father, there's an added layer of responsibility in making sure that you protect them and keep them safe in a world that's getting crazier by the day. And so whether it's having a gun for home defense or a gun to be an everyday carry pistol, these are things that you need to be able to get support from your wife to be able to comfortably do. And if she didn't grow up in a home with firearms, it's going to be that much harder to be able to convince her why it's important for you to carry a gun. And the first thing I would do is just sit down and have a serious conversation about it. Be open with her, be honest. Let her know what's truly on your heart about this and why you feel that it's important to be able to carry a gun with you, to have one for home defense. Talk about your children, talk about their safety, talk about being able to protect her, talk about all of the world events that are going on, all the horrible things that are happening out there. Explain to her that if you were to carry a firearm, you would practice with it regularly, that you would take it to a shooting range, that you would become proficient with it, that you would even practice drills in your home of how you would keep the gun safe and then how you would retrieve it and move through your house, clearing the house if you needed to. Explain to her how you've thought of every step of the way of how you would be carrying the gun, how you would use it in a scenario where you need to defend your family. Let her know that you've thought this through completely and that it's not just an instinct or a decision on a whim that you have because you think guns are cool or something. Make sure she knows that you have really thought out the actual practice of owning and carrying a firearm. And that will remove some of the mystery to her that is part of what makes it difficult for her to understand why you would want to do it. Reassure her that you will have safe gun storage. Make sure she knows that you will get, before you even buy the gun, let her know that you will buy an appropriately sized lockbox for the pistol. If it's a pistol, you keep on your nightstand. Let her know you're going to have a lockbox, maybe one of those quick access ones that just have a series of buttons you press and it opens it, but it still is kid-proof. Let her know that you'll have a way to be able to safely store that gun so that the kids can't get to it, but still enables you to have quick access to be able to use it in a true self-defense scenario. That's key for someone who's not comfortable with firearms, is knowing that it is something that can be stored safely in the home. And let her know that when you plan to carry it with you, that you will be carrying it safely either in the waistband or in your pocket. You've thought through the exact method of carry and why you want to carry it in that manner. Let her know all of the reasoning behind every little decision that goes into carrying, owning, and shooting a firearm so that there's no mystery involved and she knows that you're confident in your research and decision of why you want to be able to do it. And lastly, if she's still being a little hesitant about it, walk her through a real-world scenario of home defense or a real-world potential scenario out in public. Maybe you're in a movie theater or you're at church or you're out at dinner and a threat walks in the door and starts shooting the place up. Paint a visual picture to her of your family in a desperate scenario where you are potentially in harm's way. Paint a picture of a home invasion scenario. Let her know what it would feel like when you're both sitting in bed with your kids down the hall in their bedrooms and you hear someone breaking through the front door downstairs. Let her know that feeling you would have of complete helplessness if you didn't have a gun in that scenario, to be able to at least have a fighting chance at protecting her and the family. Paint that visual picture, because in that moment when she truly can visualize and see and feel what that moment would be like without a gun, then that will hopefully show her where you're coming from in your motivation of wanting to be able to defend your family. Show her that you've already thought this through and you've already visualized these scenarios and how you know that you would not be able to do anything about it. You wouldn't be able to protect them if you were sitting there unarmed. And in the end, she might come around and might be able to understand why it is that you're wanting to carry a gun. As long as she knows it isn't for selfish reasons, it isn't because you're trying to feel cool, and she knows it's truly for the purpose of protecting her and your kids, then she'll probably come around to understanding why you want to carry a gun. But all right, that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. And if you feel like sticking around, there's a video right here all about why, as a husband and father, you need to be carrying a firearm daily. So go click on that. I'll see you over there in that video, and thanks for watching, guys. you.